Welcome. Sounds good. Hi. It is our first embassy in the broader Middle East, and Madame Nicole Bindner, who is here, and Mark Scher, they are responsible in Abu Dhabi for our embassy. Last year in November was a very important date for you. You won the challenge of the World Exposition 2020. The other candidates had been Ekaterinburg, Izmir and Sao Paulo. So with a large majority in November 2013, you won. And the next World Expo will so take place in Abu Dhabi, or in Doha, sorry. One of the most important points, I think, in the relations between your country, Sheikh Abdullah, and the European Union is that
Your Excellency, dear Jean, dear colleagues, it's a great honor and a privilege for me to be in Schengen, but also to be with a friend as Jean, who I very much admire his leadership and his knowledge, being for such a long time a foreign minister in a European country, a senior member now of the European Council, is a great responsibility, and I learn a lot from his views and insight, and we keep good touch with each other, and I'm really satisfied with the relationship between our two countries. It has been developing. We still could do far more. There is a huge interest both in Luxembourg and in Dubai to build and develop the Islamic banking structures and becoming Islamic banking hubs of the regions. I think this is something that we will be very much following closely. Thank you, Jean, for your kind words for Dubai hosting the 2020 Expo. It's going to be a great privilege for the very first time a country in the Middle East, let alone the Arab world, to be having this huge responsibility. And we will very much look forward a strong presence of Luxembourg in 2020. Also, we are quite interested in developing our relationship when it comes to looking at development in third-party countries. This was one of the things that came up in our discussions today, and and I think we agreed that that Luxembourg's ambassador to Abu Dhabi should be following this matter and see how we could follow this path. But finally, I just want to say that on the regional issues that, Jean, as you mentioned, we had a chance to go through many countries and issues, but I'm sure with like-minded countries like the UAE and Luxembourg, we will manage together to work through this very difficult regions, but very difficult times as well.
Thank you. If you have a question, please. Yeah.
A question for both ministers. You made briefly the situation in Iraq. How should the international community react to this, and what do you think about the international intervention?
So we spoke about Iraq. It's really a very, very serious situation. We hope first that rule of law is respected in Iraq. We hope also that the Iraqi army, who is there to protect the people in Iraq, can do its best. I don't know what will bring the next days, but the situation is awful concerning the manner to proceed of these groups called ISIS. Brutality unimaginable. It's, I think, extremists who are worse than Al-Qaeda. It's difficult to imagine what it means, but it's a fact. So I hope that all those who can avoid a catastrophic situation will ally and will try to find solutions. I know that there are discussions. I say it because it's in the international information that Iran and the US, they are speaking together about finding ways to help to stop the atrocities. That's, I think, the reason of this. And I am also convinced that it will be a very, very big challenge for you in the Arab world to try to find a solution in Iraq, but also, I think, and we spoke about this, to try to find a common ground in the Islam world. There cannot always be a political division between Sunnis and Shias. I think those who suffer are those who we call Muslims, we call people Arabs, and therefore if we in the European Union we can help, we will do our utmost, our best. I know that next Monday for the Council of Foreign Ministers, Iraq will be the first and the most important point, despite Ukraine.
I agree with everything that the Minister just mentioned. I'll just add one more point, which for us believe that we would not, we think it's quite unimaginable for us to get to this point where we are today in Iraq if we had a different political structure in Iraq. Unfortunately, the political leaders in Iraq have behaved in a manner of polarizing the state, of avoiding a national dialogue. The Iraqi parliament, for instance, could not even come and sit last Thursday to have a vote on the situation in Mosul. So it just tells you how divided this country is. And unfortunately, the political leadership in Baghdad today is not behaving in a way that is reaching out, either now or previously, so we can either avoid this situation or avoid it recurring in the future. Even if we get rid of Daesh today, we will end up with a bigger problem in the future if we don't have a proper political structure in Iraq that has a sound and a voice which represents all Iraqis.
Thank you. We have to go to the Grand Duke at time, but before we go, we have to see the